Hello and welcome back to Astrological Intentions.
Hi.
I am your host, Alex Reevy, and along with the mystical matriarch herself, my mother, Sandy Reevy.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Welcome back to the freezing cold from Florida.
I tell you what, 90 degrees to about 20 degrees. Big difference.
Sorry about that. This is episode 31. We are recording here in the Jazz Fuzz studio, February 26, 2019. And here in the transits, we have Sun sextile Mars,
Push forward.
Venus square Uranus,
Urge for freedom or magnetic attraction.
Venus in Aquarius,
Love yourself.
Mercury stations retrograde.
Reform that dream.
Then Talisman Times, you were on vacation, so we're going to go ahead and allow you not to have any finished talismans.
I skipped them all.
Then one coming up, the Sun sextile Mars to move forward. We have on the horizon a radio show with Dr. Laura Berman, some expos, some online webinars, summits, as well as our Bali retreat. Then finally, we're going to wrap up with your recent trip to Florida.
With my mom. Has anybody ever gone on vacation with their 87-year-old mom and walked over 9 miles together?
Yes. Tell me more about that in our house. And also, I have an upcoming birthday, and we're going to talk about my solar return chart. What does that actually mean? So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys.
Welcome back to the freezing cold, Mom.
Yes, it really is. I just got off the megabus, right, from actually Cincinnati, where Mom and I had a wonderful, wonderful 5-day trip to Naples, Florida, to see Andrew and to get my mom out of the cold in Cincinnati. So we went there, and man, it was like 90 degrees, 88 degrees. And man, just getting off this bus today to get here just in time.
Yep. Now you're coming back to the very cold temperatures.
Right, yeah.
Welcome back to Chicago.
80 degree difference.
Well, it's good to see you and catch up with you. I'm so excited. So I do want to first go and make a shout out to everyone. So I want to talk about in our Going Direct, write us a review, tell a friend about our podcast. We are so excited about, being able to speak to you so directly and tell you what's going on astrologically, because this is really important stuff. And it's stuff that we can look at not only in our exterior lives, but also our interior worlds. So I do want to say this one Going Direct, Amanda H. Young. She's a clarity coach and energy mastery certified healer and trainer. We met her at a Body, Mind, Spirit Expo, and that is actually coming up here in Chicago this weekend. She gave us a 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you so much. And she's talking about the personal intention bracelet. And this is a process of where Sandy and you hand create a talisman together using your astrological chart. It's very customized. It's very intentional, we could say. And this is what she says: right on target. The whole process of working with Sandy was absolutely delightful. She gave me a spot-on reading and then worked with me to clarify my intention as to what is next for me. The process of working with her was even more amazing than the final bracelet that it produced, which is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It really is the taking the initiative of wanting a focus, wanting a tool, to hold on to help you get to that next level. It helps that growth period, whether it's difficult growth or an easy growth. But the fact is that there's growth, coming up or present in the now, and to be part of that. And oftentimes when one comes in as a personal intention bracelet wearer, And, they come to me first where we have to go through their chart. We have to talk about what it is they want to pull in, what their intention is. And then we write their intention in a succinct words, in a to do something. We write their affirmation, the I am statement, where we're telling themselves a new story, where what we can believe as that unbelievable thing, if we can believe and trust in it, that's true, and that is here in our lives currently, right now, in the current sense, that conscious mind believes that over time, and that alignment of what we tell ourselves as a new story comes to fruition over a period of time. We can't say what that period of time is. However, but it's that belief.
It'd be cool if we could. It'd be really cool if we could.
Some people can manifest quickly, right?
Right.
And depends where that is in their natal chart. What is the promise that each one of us breathed in that is in our entirety for our lives here on this earth? So I'm going to stress this, this wasn't part of our plan.
Right. I always throw these going directs on you. I always choose
They're
them.
surprises for me.
Right.
But because we're talking about personal intention process, we have, Jupiter is still in Sagittarius, and, Jupiter is forward motion right now. Jupiter moves retrograde April 10th, right before our Bali retreat, which is one reason why we choose that time for that retreat, the retrograde planet. So, if anyone is thinking about a personal intention bracelet, let's get this in prior to Jupiter going retrograde for 4 months. Now, Jupiter in retrograde doesn't have the same properties as another planet going on retrograde, because Jupiter is still considered the gift giver. So whether it's in retrograde or moving forward, it gives more gifts if it's moving forward, but it still gives gifts and blessings even if it's retrograde. So, I would just think, if anybody's thinking about it, to come on into the program, the process of this. Even though we're looking at a Mercury retrograde coming up here, within this next week, that's still a good time to kind of reframe the dream, and I have some thoughts about that I'll talk about in just a minute when we go into the transits.
Cool.
So, there's a lot of manifesting going on with, talisman makers or magic with this Jupiter in Sagittarius. So I want to just kind of add to that magic soup that, you have the ability to do this. So if anyone's looking for their personal talisman, good time. Any good time to set an intention. However, can we quick talk about the Mercury? Now, I looked up at the sky because the sun, we're in Chicago, so the sun, and it's, I don't know, about almost 7 p.m. On Tuesday, and the sun has gone down, over the horizon, and we should be able to see tonight and tomorrow night and over the next few nights Mercury very clearly in the night sky. So when the sun goes down, we're cloudy tonight, so we can't see it.
Okay.
That Mercury is the furthest away from the sun that it will go. Now, Mercury doesn't move very far from the sun. It's the closest planet that rotates around the sun. It's one of the attendants, and it's the messenger, right, to the sun and from the sun.
Is this what would be called out of bounds?
So, no, it's not out of bounds, but it has moved. Mercury doesn't go beyond the 28 degrees from the sun. It can never go that far beyond. But it's at about that separation right now.
Okay.
So it's very clear because, it stays so close to the sun. So whether it's, in the morning or in the evening, when the sun's either coming up or going down, that Mercury's so close to it, it's not dark enough for it to be seen. But
right.
it is now. So just a nighttime sun goes down, pay attention
Just
to
hurry
Mercury.
up and watch Mercury.
Mercury will be a little bit brighter and more noticeable than normal. So.
And tilt your ear towards that sunset and see if you can get a little message from Mercury.
Right, because Mercury is positioning to go retrograde here in a little bit. So let's go to in the transits of...
So the first one we were talking about is Sun sextile Mars.
That happens on Wednesday, tomorrow, the 27th of February, in the evening about 8:33 p.m. And to push this forward, to push energy. So, our vitality is on the move. It's like we can take action that fortifies our plans. The sun we know that it's in Pisces. You've got a birthday coming up. Mm-hmm. Sun in Pisces, and is in a sextile, 60 degrees to Mars. And Mars is in a fixed sign of Taurus. So, the sun is our life force and Mars is our physical action. These two are in a sextile 60 degrees. It says, take the initiative, make the move.
Motivate.
Right? So
Perfect.
Sun Pisces, what do we dream? Where are we sensitive? What is our intuition telling us? And Mars in a fixed sign, Mars likes to be in the action fire sign. But in Taurus, it has to, make tangible, that what is grounded. So it has to, it still has the action move, but it has to take more dependable, stable steps. So it's a really good time to, move forward, take those, even if they're slow motion steps, kind of like if you feel like you even have, concrete on your feet, take those steps. They're sturdy, they're dependable, and they have to do with, your vitality. So show yourself the power that you have.
That would show great personal strength, because especially if we have cinder blocks on our feet, it winds up being a little bit hopeless. And that's really funny that you mentioned this Sun sextile Mars, because I got an email about earlier today from one of our Jupiter and Sagittarius, because we have this wonderful thread that's going on between all of the people that were in the workshop. And somebody says, hey guys, am I the only one who's not manifesting their heart's desires? I'm in the midst of pile of rejection and hope is starting to fade fast. It hasn't been much of a banner year so far. I am, of course, happy for you all and what you're doing. I just don't know what I did wrong. And so it was just so wonderful that everyone in this thread just was responding to her. Like one person said, all love and peace to you, Sarah. I encourage you not to take any rejection you may feel personally. And everyone in this thread is really helping support her. Like one person says, all love and peace to you. I encourage you not to take rejection you may feel personally, and know that what isn't meant for you is being shown to you to make way for what is. Don't lose hope. You're not alone. And everyone's, today might be tomorrow might be a really wonderful day for her to even take those cinder blocks and push them a little bit forward, because, when we do get those senses of rejection and those feelings of hopelessness or feeling unworthy, mm-hmm. That's hard to keep.
Well, it is. And it may be that, it's time to take a breath there and say, is this truly what I want? The sun in Pisces, what is it truly that am I confused? She's confused. Why is this not working for her? Right? Why are things seem to be working for other people and yet not for her? So that, we all would take that personal. And that, to continue to move forward with these, solid, dependable steps, even though it's not quick,
right?
Has more of that determination, that feeling of I've earned this. Mm-hmm. I'm making my slow movement toward a goal. It may not be happening fast. In fact, it might be closing doors and opening new ones, but trust that universe always opens up a new door if one should close. And to look at that going, take a deep breath in the moment and say, okay, universe, show me which way to look. Where are you positioning me, right? And trusting in that. A lot of trust is going on this whole month of March. In fact, I've prepared my I'm going to be on the radio here in a couple days, and they want a vision of the month of March. So really, that I've kind of titled, confusion versus intuition. So, March is a lot of energy going on, a lot of ingresses and stations and things moving.
Yeah, so a good piece of advice for somebody who's kind of feeling in that hopelessness or feeling those bits of rejection a little too personally would be really take a deep breath, look interior.
Your dream may not be as clear as you think it is. It might not be so clean on the edges. So you're able to go into a place of saying, oh, I thought it was that. Maybe I read that wrong. Maybe it's this that has a kind of a similar
image or look.
Yeah, image.
Yeah. Okay. Vision.
Vision. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Well, cool. I like that.
I'm confused in that moment. Right.
So, and then is there anything else you want to talk about the Sun sextile Mars?
No, that's just it. But we get this position about, twice a year. And this is just one of the times that we can use this to move ourselves forward, even if it is in a steady, sturdy, slow movement. So it's like choosing our direction. So push forward, keep pushing forward. Our next thing is
Venus square Uranus.
Yeah, this is on Friday, March 1st at 6:30 in the morning. So because it's Uranus, the urge for freedom. Venus is in Capricorn square, 90 degrees, the very last degrees of both these signs. Venus at 29 Cap, square Uranus at 29 Aries. And this is the last time that any planet actually will be in a square to Uranus as it's moving out of Aries for the next 84 years. And so, this feeling of excitement, right? Mars is, we're at Venus. Venus is love, beauty, money, material objects that is square, has a little bit of a conflict with Uranus. Now, Uranus can be a surprise. It could be a great surprise. It could be a disturbing surprise. We can plan all we want, but Uranus will say, I didn't, you didn't plan this now, did ya?
Right.
So, look for that urge to be free or to, actually have this magnetic attraction. Venus is love. Venus is money. Venus is art, beauty. So this, erratic behavior that may bring in some new aspects in a love relationship. It may bring in a new way or a new adventure or invention to make more money, or, a surprise that would take money, but we don't know what it will be. But, watch for it and be excited about it because, Uranus is at this very last, it's a critical, it's I actually have one of these degrees at the 29 Pisces, which is the very last degree of it goes at 30 degrees in each sign, and it starts at 0 and goes to 29. So, this could be quite a shakeup. So, pay attention to that.
Okay, I'm hoping it's a really awesome birthday surprise for me.
And I might have to mention some surprises down here in our house. Because I'll just tell you, and then you'll forget about them because sometimes you forget things.
Only
but
sometimes.
later that morning, Venus moves into the sign of Aquarius. So love yourself because it becomes less of a personal and becomes more community angled, right? Because Uranus is more of a time for, helping other people reach their goals. It's friends, it's community, it's groups, it's organizations. So it's moving from that Capricorn, which is very serious natured, into more of a non-restricted, freedom-seeking location. So, love yourself in different ways, right? So, if you want to put yourself around new friends, love yourself in a way that brings new things to you.
Yeah.
Kind of attracting it.
And an excitement of getting to, become a better friend to ourselves. And what you say, like when you talk about Venus and Aquarius, that reminds me a lot of, and I'm not a really big pop culture fan, but it reminds me a lot of Lady Gaga. And I guess I've been seeing some things on her recently because of all of,
her winning the Oscar.
Right.
Yeah.
And, but the way that she promotes herself and the way that she kind of dresses and her beauty and her femininity, it is very Aquarian.
Mm-hmm. And even fashion, because Venus can. Good point. Venus certainly can be how we wear our hair, our aesthetics, or personal fashion.
Right. Or our, stakes that we like to wear on our dresses. I still can't. Yeah. That does not leave my mind when I think of Lady Gaga, which is so funny. But
she certainly has matured.
Right. And also, whether or not Aquarius is, wanting that exception to all of the rules just to be, out of bounds and out of the ordinary. How can we go out of bounds or out of our normal boundaries to love ourselves and to create more of a relationship?
Don't you think that's a beautiful time? Right after the, couple hours after that Venus squared that Uranus in the very last sign of, that Capricorn. So, and then all of a sudden it gets like, where it's like restricted Capricorn, right? No, do this, do that, stay within these boundaries. And then all of a sudden it moves in and saying, wow, this is all new. I get to be so free. I get to do what I want. But, again, I kind of do say, keep it into that, love yourself in unusual ways, right? New ways that you've not experienced before, So I like that time frame.
And also, I guess I have a lot to say tonight, but the artist's way, those steps that you can do, and you can take yourself on a weekly date. That would be fun. If you've ever had, those wonderful feelings, wonderful ideas of, wouldn't it be so awesome if I would go on this type of date and have this type of time? Why not? Why not just go and do it? Challenge.
Yeah, because it's non-restrictive here. It simply wants to have new experiences.
Or at least just go out to dinner with yourself.
Right. Well, that's Friday, March 1st, which is your birthday.
Right.
So
I won't be doing that, unfortunately. I'm going to be having all my friends come to my party. But I like Venus in Aquarius. That's going to be a great send-off for my birthday. Then we have Mercury stationing retrograde. So tell me a little bit about that.
Tuesday, March 5th, right in the afternoon, right after 12 o'clock noon is, Mercury stations retrograde at 29 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is the very last day of the zodiac, very last degree of the zodiac year. Okay. And interesting for me that sits right on my sun. So this stays retrograde all the way until March 29th, when it stations at 16 of Pisces, 16 degrees of Pisces. So birthdays involved here are March 7th through March 20th. So anyone that has their birthdays or anyone that personally knows their natal chart would have any planet from that 16 degrees of Pisces to 29 degrees of Pisces, if that's within that range, would have this Mercury in retrograding over that planet 3 times.
Do you have anything that is not your sun? Because I know your sun is 29 degree Pisces, but do you have any other planets there?
No, I have a 13 degree Mercury at
Okay.
at 13 degrees of Pisces.
Okay, so that wouldn't fit in that.
That's not fitting.
Okay.
No, that's the only planet I have that is getting conjunct, directly hit by it. So, that will be really more important for those dates of birthdays. And the reason why I gave those birthdays, meaning that's when the sun, we know that for a fact. Remember, the sun moves around a chart once 1 degree approximately a day. So we always know you have your birthday on this date. So I know that's where the sun will be. So, write, talk. It's going to be a little bit harder to listen, but I encourage you to listen. And vision, right? That this retrograde period gives you even more sensitivity, but it also can give you more numbness, right? Confusion, the unclarity of knowing really which way to go, as is all retrograde Mercuries. This is the first of the Mercury retrograde series. We
for
get
2019.
For 2019, we'll get it 2 more times throughout the year, and it stays retrograde for 3 weeks. So this is all the RE words, the relax, redo, rewrite, sign up for their retreat, revision. That's why I called it reform.
Revamp,
revitalize. And so really we need to actually relax. There's not a whole lot of movement going on during this time. We really should be giving into our thoughts and our ideas, into our creativity, because it's in the sign of Pisces. So, and this is kind of where I want to say the getting an accurate vision. Right now I talk about, Mercury in retrograde creates this not really key on what time it is, what I need to do, how I can move forward. But if we can just go into that intuitive place, that meditative place, that creation place, that imagination into fantasy story, if we can just go into that place where we are swimming, where we are, going down the stream of our, what will be, what can be, how do we want to vision this? So if
row your boat song.
So if we can get a little bit clearer because we're paying attention to it, right? So when we can use this Mercury retrograde to our true best ability, where we can kind of clear away some nightmares, clear away some fear, clear away some of those old stories that, did they ever even happen? Right? Are we so afraid of something because it's happened before? Or it's never happened, so let them go? I encourage people to set an intention. And I know that anybody listening to our podcast,
they're very used to setting intentions.
Are setting intentions. I mean, it's astrological intentions. That, what over these next 3 weeks, what is going to be true about your intention? How can you trust your intuition? You can't trust the details right now. They might be unclear. That might be part of the confusion. You might have to set your alarm each morning before you get out of bed, or, don't sleep with your phone. I'm not encouraging that. But, to set your alarm, of course, to get up, but then just throughout the day, knowing this is what I do. I mean, I've got my sun in Pisces. My Mercury is in Pisces. Mm-hmm. So I really know what this is like. It's like having a double retrograde. That I often have to, the first thing in the morning, what are my boundaries? What are my limitations? What am I called to do today? Do I have appointments? Do I not want to go through the day and go, oh, snap, I forgot this, or I'm late for that, or I didn't prepare for that? That I have to put, timed alarms on my phone or on my on my Alexis that allows me, or my Alexa.
You're so
That's
tech
funny.
savvy.
Well, it's because my Mercury is in Pisces.
Right. And
I
you do
make
call her Alexis a lot.
I make names up for people or for things.
Right.
Or I make things up.
I know that well.
That's really where you can go with this, kind of be in that, dream world. But if you really have to, the details, those appointments, set your alarm, ask Alexa to help you with that, because you'll need to be brought back into reality and go, okay, I need to get in the car now so I can make it to that place on time, or prepare for readings, Mm-hmm. So watch how your intention, travels over the next 3 weeks. Now we'll get a Cazimi when Mercury and the Sun get a Cazimi within 17 degrees of arc. That 17 minutes of arc, that will get clarity. And actually, at that time, it's a square to Jupiter, which we'll probably get our answers answered.
Do you know those dates?
Yes. So on March 14th, I'll talk more in depth about that in that week's podcast, but this is when we get the understanding a little bit clearer on what the new story is, what that new vision is. So, stay in this week coming up into the unknown. It's okay not to have a clear, direct answer to any of your questions, but still, continue on that intention. Set an intention if you don't have one right now, and then watch how that forms and flows, because you're reforming that dream. A dream that you had, Mercury is asking, is that really what you want? So that's the question.
Well, that's coming up this week. It's going to be a really wonderful week, and I am very biased in that that I have a birthday coming up. But so next for Talisman Times.
I had 2 to do. I was all prepared. I had Naples dates and times and everything written. And I got down there and I was going to do them on Saturday. And, I was with my mom, 87-year-old man. And she wanted to go on a boat tour. And it encompassed this time. And I'm like, Talisman that I promised, or my mom on a boat tour. Oh, well, hell boat tour it is.
Okay.
So I didn't do any.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't do any Talisman Times. There are a few coming up this week. However, I only have one written that I'm doing. It's tomorrow morning at 7:23. This is Wednesday, the 27th, at 7:23 a.m. Chicago time. I am going after that Sun sextile Mars to move forward. And it's very simple. I take action on my dream. So moving forward.
I really like that one.
Yeah, it's very clear. It's very calm.
Even with the cinder blocks on, you can make them work. Lady Gaga
strength.
Probably has done that before.
Cinder
so
block
really.
shoes.
So then coming up on the horizon, we have some things. Did you want to talk a little bit more about that Sun sextile Mars at all?
No,
Okay.
I talked about it earlier. I think that's the one talisman. And remember, the talismans that some of the other ones I have upcoming over this next week, I'll put out on my Instagram. So, get on Instagram, follow us.
Yeah. And that's at intention_beads. And that's really nice, because I love the comments that we get from people, saying, oh my gosh, I love those colors, or I would love to have some of that energy right now. So yeah, whenever you see those posts come up, just take,
yes,
it's happening. It's happening right then.
It's happening right then. And I give you something to say. So, take a deep breath when you see that, intention_beads come up in your phone, to make a note in that moment, to read it and just put your feet on the ground and close your eyes and breathe that in. It's happening at that exact moment.
Cool. Yeah, and we can choose that stuff for us. So on the horizon, we have lots coming up. I'm really excited, and especially for one of our newest announcements, February 28th. So that's this coming Thursday. You are going to be featured on the Dr. Laura Berman Uncovered radio show.
I know.
Congratulations.
Dr. Laura and we actually have a ball together.
Really, you do?
And we actually do really synergetic. You know, I come from an angle of astrology, and she comes from this just quantum love advice and just years and years of her knowledge
and her therapy
work that she's doing, and you know, just really the guidance that she gives, and you know, and really sometimes demands and encourages with incredible support. That, you know, I flew out there to LA and did this live with her a few months ago.
Right.
We had such a fun time. We're going to be doing it monthly now.
Right. And so I will be, if you aren't on our mailing list, make sure you're on there. I will be sending out some reminder emails and where to listen to the radio show. We're also going to be featured on her podcast as well. And we're going to ask her onto our podcast as a guest so that we can do a little bit of her chart and get that astrological side to Dr. Laura Berman.
And actually, won't you also allow people to, because we're doing charts on air.
So people can call in. So if you also follow Dr. Laura Berman, and I think on Instagram, on Facebook, and Twitter, it's Dr. Laura Berman, Berman. And you can find, there's just recently, I think just earlier this week on Monday, she posted an email address that you can ask to be one of the callers so that we get your birth data information ahead of time. So that you can have the charts prepared, and that we bring you on live on air and then talk about your chart. And it's just a really fun, you get both. It's kind of like our Chatting with the Stars, but you have an astrologer, and then you also have a, sex relationship, therapist there
Guru,
as well.
Expert.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, you don't necessarily just have to talk about relationships. She has many people coming on just talking about
I know last time,
endeavors.
like I'm at a crossroad. What should I do? And, with the astrology advice and Dr. Laura's advice, we can, encourage and.
What were some of your favorite callers from last time? Maybe one, if you remember.
Well, the one woman who was at a crossroad and really didn't. She felt so stuck in what she had been doing and where she should be going in the future. And she has built something so solid that, the school and the current job she was in was like her dream, and she just was not loving it. And, really felt that so discouraged that all of her, decades of study led her to this. And it was,
oh, no.
that, I could look on her natal chart and find that, she was at a crossroads, and that she just needed to hang in there for a couple more months, actually. And she was in this big growth spurt. And
so even that opportunity that she had would kind of open up to her a little bit?
She just realized that she felt like she was at an end, like the top of her head was hitting the ceiling. And she thought she was going to be able to feel better about where she was. And she just was in a limiting moment, and that was going to open up for her. And that gave her all the encouragement in the world. And we helped her with a talisman and sent her a tool to get her over that hump, because there was a big green pasture in front of her.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So everyone tune into the Dr. Laura Berman Uncovered radio show. It is basically nationwide on 55 stations around the country. And yours truly, Sandy Reevy, is going to be featured monthly on that radio show. So stay tuned. Sign up for our mailing list. We are going to be reminding you when to listen and also sending you some links to the podcasts. Then we have coming up March 2nd and 3rd this weekend, the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo. And this is also where we met, if you think before when I was talking about the going ahead, this is where we met Amanda. And it's a really wonderful expo. I mean, we've talked about it. We did a free ticket giveaway last episode, and those tickets are now all gone. However, we would love to still see you there and reach out to us.
Where is it?
It's in North Lake, Illinois. So it's right by O'Hare Airport. So it's just outside of the city limits. And it's just $14 for a ticket. So it's easy, and it's a wonderful way to explore metaphysical and spiritual worlds, because you have everything there from crystals to readers to intention beads. Duh.
Come by and say hi.
Then we have coming up March 6th. We have two things going on March 6th. And that is the Spring Equinox Constellation Bracelet Workshop. This is going to be our initial meeting. So this is about a month-long, wonderful workshop that you're creating a talisman at each Zoom call that we have. So we have 12 to 13 Zoom calls. It's a wonderful workshop. Take a look at the link. We would love to have you, as a part of this. And that link will also teach you a little bit more of our past attendees to these constellation workshops and just what they got out of it.
It's working with me this particular time for 3 weeks, and it's the entirety of the Mercury retrograde. Watching the Mercury retrograde in your natal chart.
Right. And so also March 6th is the Uranus and Taurus webinar. So you have a choice of two different dates. We have March 6th available as well as March 20th. And this is going to be going through the next 7 years of what Uranus and Taurus is going to be like. Just what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about, Venus square Uranus, and Uranus is currently in Aries. It's going to be ingressing into Taurus. And this means some big, big stuff, because this is going to be an 84-year cycle. So it has been 84 years since Uranus has been here.
Right.
So this is very generational. We are now going to be these changelings, because Uranus loves change. So we won't necessarily have a big choice in any of this. We are going to be changing. So how do you want to take on this Uranus and Taurus next 7-year plan? That's where you come in, Mom.
Right. So this is a Zoom call that is, like we said, it's either on March 6th in the evening, or that March 20th, you have a choice of signups. And it lasts for about 2.5 hour Zoom call. And I have in advance sent you a detailed report of dates and aspects to your natal planets where your Uranus is in aspect to, and a worksheet that explains what Uranus square your natal Venus, or Uranus conjunct your natal sun.
And where you can find it in your life.
And, what house Uranus is going through. It's either going to be going through one of your houses or possibly two of your houses, because, yes, Uranus will retrograde many times in that 7-year cycle. So, this is what we'll be learning during this Zoom call. We will also have a chance to make one bead. I'll be rolling the bead for you during this Zoom call, and you'll be able to set an intention, an affirmation around that, to engage in the change. Yeah. Is what the title of this is called. So it's here, folks. The change is right here on the precipice. You know what? Change is good.
Change is good. We got to welcome it, because otherwise
bring it on.
We're hanging on tooth and nail.
And it's going to change anyway. So you guess what? Your nail and your tooth are going to fall out.
Right. Don't want that hillbilly smile.
They're going to be pulled out, because we're going to change anyway. So, we don't have to be afraid of it. We don't have to be fearful. It's just, this, there are people that are older than 84 years old. I know my mom's one of them that has gone through this. She was,
and she's really
born
she's changing
in this.
herself,
So, to enjoy the, Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is the one sign that doesn't want change, and Uranus is the epitome of change, and freedom. So,
So I have a feeling there's going to be many people who are still holding on that tooth and nail. So, we would love to have you sign up for that webinar. Of course, go to intentionbeads.com/events and you can learn more about those. Then we also have March 7th to 9th. We are in the International Women's Summit. Woo, woo.
Love that.
In Phoenix, Arizona. It is a wonderful event. It's called Celebrate Your Life. And tell me a little bit more about it, Mom.
Well, Liz Dawn and her mother have started this 26 years ago, Celebrate Your Life in Phoenix, Arizona. But this is the second event called International Women's Summit. And it actually is on International Women's Day on that Friday.
Right.
We were there 2 years ago when she hosted this, the inaugural, which was so well attended. I think she had 60-something countries there. And it's really about women helping women. So if this is, the mature women helping the young women finding their power, finding their strength, helping them in business, helping them through love, helping them through relationships. It's well represented. The speakers are incredible. And we will be there selling intention beads and promoting the tool, our talisman, the tool to help them gain their goal.
Right.
Gain the goal.
And then I pulled up their website real quick and I wanted to read just some of the testimonies that they have on their website.
And can you read some of the speakers?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have Laura she flew in from Pennsylvania. The wisdom I absorbed from the summit has planted nuggets of possibility, and I will be forever growing into the truths of my one precious self. The gentleness many of the speakers shared has cracked doors and removed stones from my fortress of protection and has forever changed me. Thank you. Let's see. We have another woman. Oh, somebody from Naperville, Illinois, Rose. She said, there is no one right way, and that not only is it okay to be me, but that I have a duty to do that. It gave me tools for self-reflection, to find a deeper level of self-awareness, and to move out of my comfort zone. And then, the speakers list is kind of crazy. It's Liz Gilbert, Laverne Cox, Cheryl Strayed, which I read her book Wild, and it was amazing.
I think a lot of people have seen that movie too.
Glennon Doyle, Lisa Nichols. There's a woman, an Iraqi survivor of war. There's the Zimbabwe education activist for girls. Dr. Laura Berman's going to be there. Gambian women's rights activist. Let's see. It's packed. It really is.
Isn't Laverne Cox going to be there?
Right. That's what I said.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah.
So
the star from Orange is the New Black, the LGBT activist and Emmy-winning producer. That's just going to be so much fun. I can't wait.
And actually, I think tickets are going fast.
They have very limited space. Don't they make it not too big for the International Women's?
Right, but I just read that the tickets are going fast. They only have a few left. So be one of the ones to get in.
Yeah, we would love to see you. And it's currently 8 days away. So get those tickets together. Then we also have March 22nd to 23rd. We have our Hay House Live, and that's in Portland, Oregon. So if you or any friends are around the Portland, Oregon area, definitely share that with them, because the Hay House Live is again, a lot of this similar speakers. If they aren't on the Celebrate Your Life circuit, they're probably on the Hay House circuit. So there's big names there. Even one of my favorites, Dr. Joe Dispenza, is going to be there.
Right.
Dr.
Brian Weiss.
Right.
Yeah.
And they even have these workshops that you can work privately, in small, intimate groups with them. And that's going to be incredible as well.
That's big. And they're doing 2 of these events this year. One in Portland, this first one that's coming up, and then one in October in Houston, Texas.
And we will be at both. So we'll see you there. Then we have, of course, our Bali retreat. It is still open. We have a couple spots left.
2 spots left.
Okay. And of course, you can, if you're on the fence, you're not really sure if it would be a good idea for you to go, we are here to help you. And listen, we use astrological knowledge all the time to help make our decisions. So if you sign up, you can get a free reading with Sandy. And then you can decide whether or not it's going to be a great trip for you or not. So, and those dates are April 15th to the 26th. And you can always ask some more pertinent questions if you're curious, as well as we just recorded our Bali Babes episode here on the podcast. So that will also be available for you to listen to. Just scroll back on the episode list and you'll see the astrological interview.
That was just last week.
Yes. And so that's wrapping up for On the Horizon. We got a big March packed. So then finally, let's wrap up with our house.
Our house. So let's talk. I'm just now seeing, do I look tan?
You do. You look
I mean,
pretty
we
tan.
didn't really like lay in the sun. In fact, I said, Mom, did you bring your bathing suit? She goes, oh my God, I wouldn't even want to see myself in a bathing suit. And then we get down there and it's so warm. She goes, well, if I would have packed my bathing suit, I still could have, gone to the beach. I mean, we did, and she did get her feet into the water. So, but we didn't really lay out. We were busy. And
you were busy.
Man, I mean, the beauty of, my 62 years flying and going on a one-on-one vacation with, your 87-year-old mother, because her husband, my dad, just passed away, 2 months ago, that the ability, she has been so encouraging for grandkids and for her children that her moving forward has been her theme. And, yes, she misses dad. And yes, married 64 years. But man, for her to do what she said she'd do, if ever one of them would pass first, was to, they've made a promise to each other to continue living life. And she is doing that.
She really is.
We had a ball. I mean, she wanted the boat tour. We went to the Botanic Gardens. We walked over 9 miles in those 5 days.
And she has a new iPhone, so she knew exactly all the steps, all the miles she took.
She didn't know that it was already programmed into her phone. And she's like, oh, Alex, if I bet we walked 29,000 steps. And I was like, Mom, where did that number come from? She's like, I just want to walk 29,000 steps. And you were like, oh, it's right there. And we went back and calculated and counted all. We walked over 25,000 steps.
Nice.
So she got it.
That's
she
incredible.
Almost got it. But it was just a beautiful time. I really enjoyed being with Mom. She wants to do it again. She hopes the God keeps her healthy. She's going to pray for that every day for the purpose of going back to Naples, Florida to visit Andrew at his, assistant golf pro job and spend longer time there because she was able to do it once.
All right.
So,
well, maybe I'll join in and we'll get some extra generations in there.
So the big news really is the Pig Day. Pig Day.
And it's so funny too, because I'm just realizing, so I wasn't really planning on having anything big for my birthday.
March 1st is National Pig Day.
It's National Pig Day. And my mother has reminded me every year, Happy National Pig Day, as opposed to Happy Birthday.
Because when you were 5 years old and we were going to take you to the zoo, and so we strolled you up in the stroller and we see all these signs, National Pig Day. Mm-hmm. It ingrained, and I think the fact that we have a national day is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, pig, it doesn't matter.
It's the golden pig year, so here we go. So,
however, where are you having your birthday party?
I'm actually having it at the Midnight Pig, which is a kind of serve yourself bar where you pay by the ounce all these really wonderful beers on tap, and they also have a pool table. So it's a new bar. I've never been there before under this new name, and it's just so perfect how it's all coming together. And so yeah, I'm excited. And the last episode, we talked a little bit about solar returns and what those are. And so I'm curious because I have not talked to you at all. This is our first time really catching up in a while. But tell me, when is my solar return? And give me a quick synopsis of what solar returns are.
So a solar return, sun returns to the same exact degree and minute that the sun was in your natal chart when you took your first breath. So we know that you were born March 1st.
La 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 la. No, just kidding.
1988.
I'm 31.
At 9:31 a.m. in Evanston, Illinois. So that gave us this 11 degree, 16-minute Pisces sun. So when the sun every year comes back to that same 11 degree, 16 minutes, you have what's called a solar return. It returns back.
Right.
And so for you, that's March 1st.
Okay.
So on Friday at 9:58 p.m.
Okay.
So it'll be right after maybe your, special dinner. So you're going to want to be about 15 minutes in advance, know this time, set your alarm.
Right.
So that you have this moment to exactly at 9:58, exactly at that solar return time, breathe in as if you're breathing in new life. That you're revitalizing your solar powered energy. That this vitality of the year has got new found source.
I'm going to take it as a reset and a recharge.
And so that time, and really stretch like you just came out of the womb. You might get a chill in the air. You might yawn. You might get tired. You might be super excited to be out of there. And, work that your muscle has that memory. So stay in that awareness, that ceremony, a ritual. Everyone, I believe, we celebrate birthdays anyway. And even if you don't like your birthday, you should celebrate it because the sun gives you this new energy. If you just do it in, maybe not even in a party form or with a group of people,
have a little ceremony at home.
Find your solar return. Find your solar return time. Even if you don't like, there's so many people that don't like their birthdays, and I just don't. It must be for all the people that take a week of birthdays.
I mean, mine's on National Pig Day. If I can love my birthday, you can love your birthday.
And
I also share a birthday with Justin Bieber. That was a new phenomenon since, the last few years. All of my little cousins reminded me that I have the same birthday as Justin Bieber.
That's so fun.
Right?
But anyway, looking at your solar return chart, so you get a time, but when you get that time, there's a chart it's associated with it. Where are all the other planets that happen to be in their order around the sun at that exact moment? So you really have this, the solar return. Sun is in your fourth house. So this has this feeling of family, roots, diving into, where you consider home. So it's about a focus of that kind of ancestral root system, creating new stability there. It's, last year it was exactly conjoined that Neptune that rules it. So there was a little bit of unclarity around where you were to go. This year you have a little bit more direction. And actually you have a lot more direction because you will get the Mars in a sextile, a pretty tight sextile to Mars. Mars is in your seventh house, about relationships. Mars.
Perfect timing.
Right? And it's really interesting because your rising sign, your natal rising sign is Taurus. Well, this solar return rising sign is the opposite of that, is Scorpio. So it's almost like it's
interesting
over, it's been flipped. So there's more energy going on in relationship, intimate relationship right now. And we know that's true. But Mars is in the sign of Taurus. And if we recall what we were talking about earlier, it's about you, moving forward with these, with determination and full belief, like the sturdiness,
right.
the groundedness
right.
of how you're moving. You're not just moving like willy-nilly and just, running at something without knowing where what the purpose is.
Right.
It's very purposeful Mars. It's in the 7th house. And it's sextile to your natal sun and your solar return sun. So, again, what we were just talking about when the sun is, you're getting that an imprint for the year because we were talking about that push forward, that sun sextile Mars.
Right.
You're getting that for the whole year because it is actually hitting your natal sun.
Massive energy.
Yeah. So, physically act on what you dream. And it's in your 7th house of relationships. So, that flip sense of seeing yourself, ascendant to descendant, that seeing yourself in this has the ability to allow you to move forward with sure-footedness.
Absolutely. Right on point.
Right. And, like I said, that 4th house sun, having that, building new root system. You've got Jupiter is that you have a natal Jupiter at 28 degrees of Aries, so that Uranus is hitting your Jupiter for the year. You're getting that. So it's like sudden unexpected blessings, right? So, not saying to go and put your money on a lottery ticket, but you can put a little bit on throughout the year.
So take some risks is what I'm hearing.
Take some, allow the blessings to come in through change.
Cool.
Right? That this will change from this to this, but see the benefit in it.
That sounds a lot like all of these transits that we have going on. Interesting. Yeah.
You have a lot of...
It is my week.
You have a lot of planets in the Caden houses. So this is a year for completion. So whatever has been in the works up to this year will kind of solidify.
Right.
Feel it. You've got more planets in those houses. So kind of wrapping things up that you can then maybe possibly next year. I haven't done next year's solar return, so that things are clearer, cleaner, less confusing.
Absolutely. I can't wait for that.
and I know that's been one of, in fact, when I went away for a week, right? When I went away for a week and I was like, okay, you get to that B list of all the things that are on your B and C list. Mm-hmm. And because you've got so many projects that are, on back burners that are key for
growth. Yeah.
For growth.
Yeah.
So, personal and
I've never
business.
Really looked at them with such clarity recently, and I'm so excited because I'm gaining a little bit more of a support system, and I'm feeling like, okay, I don't need to tackle these all by myself anymore, because even migrating a site or creating a whole brand new site is pretty daunting when you're all by yourself, taking the pictures by yourself, writing all the copy by yourself. So I'm so excited that I'm creating a team where this is all going to be possible. So that's a little key tip to all of our podcasters. We are going to be working on a little website. So stay tuned. So thank you for that solar return reading. I'm so excited. This year sounds wonderful. And I already knew it was going to be wonderful, but
intense emotion. You have an intensity in your your feelings, there's power, like in intensity in your emotional power. There's like a drive to succeed that has emotional success. Yeah. So
bring it
there
on.
You go.
2019, 31 is going to be a great year. I'm so excited. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
So anyone who is interested in what your year is going to be like, this is a really wonderful example of what a solar return reading is like. Of course, this is a very short, succinct version of it. But if you are interested, definitely sign up for our email list. We'll email you automatically just to remind you a couple weeks before your birthday, if you put your birthday in there. And of course, you can reach out to me, info@intentionbeads.com, if you're interested in getting any type of reading, as well as a solar return reading. And reach out to us. We love to hear your feedback. What questions do you want answered? What do you want? How can we talk to you in a more direct way? And of course, if you have any feedback, we certainly welcome that. That is the end of this episode 31 of Astrological Intentions, and we are going to see you next week. We will see you then.
See you then.